Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of GhostComms. I'm your host, Jatmon, joined by my co-host, Vishal, and today we have a UEFN guru and level designer who is making waves in the scene. We wanted to sit him down and talk about this, this new money market and kind of the wave of the UEFN and Creative 2.0 and how all of that is going to change the landscape of the game and the industry potentially for a long time to come. So we have BenPen with us today.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Not to be confused with pro player NPen.
Yeah.
Do people ever? Yeah. So firstly, yeah, kind of how did you get into this? How did you get into level design and the creative side of things? Did you start as a player? Did you, where was that from?
So I actually started as a comp player during NA West, and I noticed there was like a huge lack in Zone Wars development, and I was actually going to school for game development at the time.
Okay.
In college, so I wanted to just like combine the two a bit, and I ended up with my duo. We were like guaranteed grands. We were in heats. Everyone was like they're guaranteed grands, and he started some beef with some people, and we ended up getting disqualified. He got mass reported.
Yikes.
So we got disqualified. They got the drop for free. The other team qualled. And so I was like depressed. I was like, man, I don't know what to do. Like I wasn't working anymore. I was just pursuing like streaming and comp completely.
Yeah.
And to pay the bills and everything. And
so like with that duo, are you still like friends with him, or did you like completely like?
I'm still chill with him. We're still homies. I talk to him every once in a while, but yeah, like there's still controversy whether he cheated or not. No one really knows. I know a few cheat developers, and they say he didn't cheat, but they're like, I don't think he cheated. But I mean, only God knows. Only God knows. And he still plays. He still plays today.
Interesting.
So, yeah, but I was just sad, and I was like, man, like I've always wanted to make that Zone Wars map, and I ended up meeting this guy. His name's Fast WID, great guy. He's in the scene today. He's actually a CS major. So,
okay.
Yeah, he made all Lucky Zone Wars. You guys have played those?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we did I saw him. He made a duo map, and he had like the zone system I was looking for. I was like, this is actual like zones. It's actual end game. I can never figure it out, but. So I reached out to him, and we ended up making BenPen 40-man Zone Wars, and it was an instant hit. Lucky ended up playing it. Booga played it. They were all just playing it for fun. It ended up getting like 1 million plays, and I was like, man, like, yeah, this is more fun than competing. But there was no money in there at the time. It wasn't UEFN yet.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I made a few more maps after that. BenPen 32 players, nonstop Zone Wars, just straight line. It's basically Jiven's endgame.
Yeah.
He has out now. And so we ended up making that, and that got like 200K plays. Still no money in it yet, but just off a creator code, and I was getting a couple $100 a month.
Okay.
That paying the bills.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then you started making a couple $100, and like you were able to start paying off like were you able to, with that money, were you able to start paying off like actual bills and stuff, or was it just like starter money, like you could pay like for food and all that?
Just like I was starting to break even each month.
Okay.
I think my total bills were like $900 a month. This was back in like 2019.
Right.
So
yeah.
Inflation wasn't super crazy yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So everything.
Yeah, that's fair though.
Yeah, I mean, off of streaming, I actually was on a team at the time.
Okay.
PMD, if you guys have heard of it too.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about it, for what I know.
There was a whole. They ended up scamming at the end. They still owe me like $500, but.
Yep.
I mean, whatever.
Sounds like a Fortnite org. Yep.
Yeah.
That was back in what you said, 2019, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. I think at that point it would have been like 2021 for PMD.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah, well, because 2019 was World Cup, right? So this is 2020, 2021.
Okay.
When I started.
So like when quarantine was going on.
Yeah, it was during COVID.
Okay.
So you're making maps kind of just for the passion of it. Are you still in school at this time? Are you like, is there something else kind of going on, just in tandem? Okay.
I think at first I was still in school, and then COVID happened. I ended up dropping out because
Okay.
I was getting paid to go to school actually
Oh
with all
wow.
the financial aid. I was getting like an
On
extra
a
5
scholarship?
grand. Just grants in
Oh shit.
California. Just
Nice.
literally, I
Okay.
was getting paid, and then my parents ended up getting a different job, and I had to switch their tax information,
Mm.
and I wasn't getting paid anymore. And I was like, man, I don't even like this.
Yeah, it took
So
all the fun
I'm,
out. Yeah, sure.
yeah, I'm
Sure.
like, I'm not going into debt over something I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
dropped out, and then just started working. Ended up working for Robinhood for a little bit.
Okay.
Uh, Worked for
Whoa.
Target, Robinhood.
Okay.
I've done like so many jobs, man. It's
Nice.
crazy.
Like part-time jobs to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
got it.
Very
So
cool.
during all that, sorry, before you like, before we talk about where you moved, where were you live? You were living in California, correct? Like all your life?
Yeah, I was in California my entire life.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually one summer I traveled to Virginia just
Nice.
to travel out there, play East Coast.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that one was 2020
Okay.
Okay.
when I did that, but I don't
Okay.
even know, man.
So when does it kind of transition from, you're just making these for fun and for the passion of the game or whatever, like you said, you kind of made that first Zone Wars map as like you just want it there to be something for people to practice on, a good, a well-structured map for the community. Like when did that start to transition really into the business side and, where it was monetization and now what you're doing now, where you're collaborating with streamers and making these maps for profit?
Yeah, I was. Dang, it was a crazy journey, man. Because I was just doing it for fun, and then
Mm-hmm.
UEFN came out, and I hit up fast. I was like, dude, we should make a new Zone Wars map,
Mm-hmm.
and we ended up making this map. It's called Late Game League. It's not even out anymore. We changed it to like Endgame Arena or something, and it was the most dynamic like map. Like we had the new level terrain tools, and I was working at a hotel at the time,
Oh wow,
actually.
nice.
Okay.
And so I was doing night shift over there. So I literally, during some of the shift, I would get some work done on the UEFN map, and then I would come home and I would work on it, and I'd get like 4 hours of sleep. It was terrible.
Dang.
And I heard about the revenue shares, and so I was like, man, we should try it. And the map completely flops. No plays. No one tries it. There was a
Right.
zone bug at the time in UEFN maps. You couldn't see where zone was pulling on
Yeah,
the mini map.
Ooh.
So wrong timing. No one wanted to play it. You can't see where zone's going.
Yeah.
They're like, people were complaining zones are too fast. But like, it's literally lucky zones. Like it's the same person. It's actually more correct
Yeah,
now because we have precise coordinates we could put down. And so no one played it. It was terrible. We ended up getting a gig for if you guys heard of Glimpse Creative before. They had some good
I think so.
maps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we ended up they were like, hey, a couple $100 to you guys if you want to make Bed Wars. And so we made a Bed Wars map for them. And then I was like, all right, this is fun. Like, let's keep doing this. And Fast was like, nah, I don't want to do this. I was like, okay. So we end up taking a break. I just keep learning some UEFN tools. And then I'm at the hotel. And like 4 months later, I end up getting an offer. He's like, oh, $3,000 if you want to make this map.
Wow.
For me. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then I end up getting followed by like, my ego starts getting crazy, bro. I see like on Twitter that I'm getting followed by like Laserbeam. I'm getting followed by these other big streamers,
right,
and creators. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm ascended, bro. And I quit my job at the hotel. I put in my 2 weeks. They like laugh at me. They're like, you're going to make Fortnite maps? Like that's why you're leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I leave the hotel and I end up getting 2 more deals within a few weeks for it's like $10,000 for those 2 deals. And I make them, they come out, they don't do too well for the other guy, but they I still got paid. And then I applied for SuperJoy. They allowed me to work as a freelancer. It was like a 2-month long interview process.
Right.
And all my they were so happy for me, especially with the rate that I'm not allowed to say the rate, but the rate they were giving me. My homies like, they laughed at you. They literally laughed at you for leaving the hotel.
Yeah.
And look at you now, bro. And I was like,
is that where you're at currently? Is SuperJoy? You're doing like stuff for them, or?
I haven't worked with them in like a month and a half.
Okay.
But we're talking about another project. Just December, people get like weird with end of the year, like their budgets are out, and then beginning of the year, new budgets come in.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Vishal.
So you said, like we were talking earlier, you said you haven't been in the studio at SuperJoy, right?
Yeah, I haven't actually been to the studio. Daniela said I could come, but I've been so busy. I work every day over here. I work crazy hours. People tell me stop working so much, and I just tell them to stop telling me to stop working so much.
Yeah.
You enjoy working a lot.
I enjoy working a lot. If not, I feel lazy as shit. I literally go to bed if I don't work. I go to bed 100%. And I'm like, God would be disappointed in me. Would you? Because he knows that I could do more, and I know I could do more. So I have to do more.
Would you say that you're the type of guy that's like, if you have like a 15-30 minutes spare in your day and you like even have the thought of going to bed, you know there's something wrong?
Yeah, I'll be upset that I'm like wanting to go to bed. I literally, cause I get sick like once a month too, and people tell me, they're like, it's probably because you work so much. I'm like, so I get some sniffles, I get a little cold, and I still get to work. What's the problem?
Yeah.
So you're just sitting making Fortnite maps all day. Is that what exactly?
Not all day.
Okay. What is the process that goes, like, what exactly would your job be? You know, if I approached you with a project, what would be kind of the A to Z of, you know, the ideation to the actual publishing of the map?
So I'm a businessman, so I realize that I have to do it all. So it depends what you want. If you come to me and you're like, we have this idea, this is the map we want, specifically, this is how we're going to do it. I go, great. I'll put in the plan. We'll get it all set out. It's going to work. But I also have people that come to me, yo, I want a Fortnite map.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, like, what do you have in mind? Oh, well, I'm thinking like only up.
Another box PvP, because that's what we need.
I'm thinking box PvP.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a theme?
Rapper box PvP.
Dude, I've had people say rapper box PvP. So people will be like, oh, I don't have a theme. They're like, I don't have a theme. I want you to pitch me themes. They'll come to me. They'll be like, I want you to pitch me ideas. And if I'll usually do some research first. If they're like a decent guy, I'm like, okay, like he's serious. Like he actually has budget to do it. This is like worth my time. But I've had people where they're like, oh yeah, 20 followers on Twitter, 100 followers, nobody randoms, just like, oh, can you make me a map?
Yeah.
And that's it. So for the process, if it's an actual guy, like this guy Rudy, he's a good guy. He's in the crypto space. He has a lot of money. He's like an actual crypto guy, not those scammer crypto guys.
Yeah, sure.
So he comes to me a lot and he'll be like, oh, I have this project. I need you to pitch like 4 ideas, anything you want. Or he'll say combat focus. He'll say non-combat focus. This many players. Stay away from this. Come up with stuff. That's worth my time. I'm gonna come up with 4 pitches for him.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, maybe some entire game mode, entire plan. Right. But other people, they'll come to me. Rapper box PvP. All right, I have my friend Scaling17. He made all the power maps. He's the one who's done all the trend. I'll be like, all right, Scaling, are you down for another one? This is how much they're offering me. I'll give you this much. And then we just like work together on it.
Okay.
So the rapper box PvP maps are so interesting.
Dude, he's the one who made the first one with Auto PK. And then
nice.
Minho stole it.
Yeah.
Into Minho.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know. There's a new one popping up every day, I think, at this point now. I mean, every creator's kind of hopped on it.
Dude, I saw somebody, was it Polarized? I saw somebody post.
Yeah, Scaling made there. You
Was
mean
it the
their
LG?
powers?
I saw like the LGBT somewhere,
Oh,
and I was like, so,
PvP?
like,
I
what?
think
Yeah, and I
Michael
was like, what?
I think Mikey
I was
Bright
like,
published a monkey box PvP too.
Bro,
Like,
I'm actually making Monkey FFA right now.
are
wow.
you really?
Yeah, just because we have the AI thumbnail, love
Nice.
it, and it's all ready, bro. And then we have some like cool banana dropping on your body when you die.
So,
Hold
Yeah.
do you think that, starting earlier, doing it before the money was there, like, how much of an advantage would you say that has been for you now that there is? Because I mean, from an outsider's perspective, it is wildly oversaturated now. The prices are crazy. Like, there's so much money being poured into it and getting paid out in it. Like, do you think that you being kind of cemented already with a reputation going into when UEFN was dropped, like, how much of an advantage would you say that's been for you?
I'd say it has its pros and cons. Because there's been a lot of talks about shadow bans lately, and I've done a lot of looking into Discover. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say. Also, no, all of what I say about Discover is conspiracy. We don't actually know. I
Okay.
don't actually know. But there's literally a Discord. I'm not gonna say how I know this, but there's a Discord with the top people in it that have a bot that say if that map is able for Discover time and everything. And so there was a whole discussion on Twitter with Ray Benefield. He used to work at Epic Games, and of shadow bans exist. And I'm pretty sure my account is shadow banned. Only recently, I checked all my UEFN maps. None of them had Discover time. None of them. Not one time on Discover. Discover is what you want, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So my account, they don't like competitive maps. So my account coming into the scene before UEFN was out is known and flagged as a competitive map maker. Everything.
Interesting. Okay.
So my account, I literally have a message with Epic Games saying that like this is just their player support saying that my 40 player map was flagged and that they removed the flag, but they can't say why it wasn't allowed on Discover. It's internal stuff.
Interesting.
So there's talks whether shadow bans exist. Ray says no. Other people say yes. I say yes. My account, like literally the fact that my Mammoth Pistol Headshot only map had over 100K plays, not one of it was from Discover. There was, according to Fortnite GG, my map was never on Discover. So coming into UEFN, my account being flagged and known as a comp map and comp focus, it was a huge disadvantage.
Right.
Like I made a new account last week just to test if it was. I got in 3 tabs on my new account.
Yeah.
So they clearly like new accounts.
So
They
you
want,
so
they
you think
want to
there's
launch
like
it.
there's clearly like hard evidence for shadow banning.
I mean, for me, but then last week I finally got in a tab on my Meme Zone Wars map.
Okay.
So then you say, well, you got
what?
Right.
If I were a conspiracy theorist, from all the information that you just kind of threw out, it would seem like there seems to be some evidence pointing to kind of, people are calling it like the Robloxification of Fortnite and moving toward that business model as the primary, like kind of moving away from, like you said, the competitive and the battle royale. Would you say that that is a consistent like thing that you've kind of seen, like that you're saying they're discouraging kind of competitive? Yeah,
completely. They hate competitive. It makes their game worse. They lose players. They hate competitive. Literally, my roommate downstairs will not play Fortnite because it's too hard.
Yeah.
He literally, I told him, I said, if Fortnite's not even Fortnite anymore, he said, I don't care. I'm not gonna play. I finally got him to play. He said, this is Fortnite. I didn't even know this is possible.
Yeah.
They hate competitive. It's terrible for the game.
Do you see
the competitive department likes competitive?
Right.
UEFN, no.
Yeah, well, and Epic as overall, I mean, I think it's pretty clear, as especially. So I wanted to get your opinion on this because this is kind of I feel like this is the logical conclusion, I guess, of this Robloxification. I'm going to keep using that term, I think.
Robloxification.
You know how Roblox has Robux, which is the in-game currency that you can then use to exchange for basically pay-to-win systems. Do you see that being implemented anytime in the future? Because if I'm Epic, that's what I'm looking at, and I'm going, I could make so much money off of these kids becoming the new Roblox. If you make V-Bucks not only the cosmetic purchaser, currency, but also an in-game currency for all of these maps and these tycoons and all of the same things that are rolling out, it's just a genius monetization strategy. Do you see that happening?
It's hard to say. Epic's model seems like they're against it, but like you said, they only have one source of revenue for Fortnite.
Yeah,
I mean, Epic Games, Unreal Engine, they get like 30% of whatever games come out. No, it's not 30% because they're fighting Apple for 30%. But they have a ton of revenue sources, so it's not just the one. I don't know. I see it happening. Like, it makes sense, right? Like, let's let people spend V-Bucks on in-game maps and in-game purchases. But in the near future, no, I don't see it in the near future at all. They really like their business model of giving, was it 40%? I think it's 40% of whatever Fortnite makes.
What, this kind of wellspring right now, because everyone wants to make a map, from the streamer content creator side, everyone's talking about ideas, everyone's trying to, make a map, like whatever, because everyone just seems to think, oh yeah, it's a get rich quick scheme, which I think there was a golden time where maybe that was the case. I know when they first started kind of, paying out creators that big money, like the first month that it was announced, and they had that graph of, how many creators are getting paid, 10 million plus a month or whatever it was, like, people were hopping on then, but now it's so, I think the creators have adjusted their price, rightfully so, to the market. I remember when I was on PL, we wanted to make a team map, and we approached a couple of guys, and I think the average cost was like 5K up front plus revenue, something like that. Which sounded crazy to us at the time. And my understanding, especially over time, is like, that's really not too radical now for what these maps are making and things like that. Time put in and the value of the work. So I guess, like, when will that, where's that money coming from, and when will that wellspring run out? Or are they just going to keep kind of pumping into this for a while?
I mean, it's all just Fortnite revenue that is coming in. It also gets split to Fortnite. I don't know if that's like common knowledge. It's pretty common knowledge for us, but I don't know about non-UEFN devs. Literally, whenever you play the Battle Royale, they're part of that revenue split. So like, the money, so a majority of it goes back to them.
Yeah.
Only that. But a lot of the maps too that I noticed are like, this is still just like tinfoil conspiracy theorists over here. A lot of that, like, let's take Minnow for example, the meme box PvP. I don't know if you saw it, was trending. I
think so. Yeah,
it broke numbers. That guy's 17, and he was publicly 17. You're not allowed to be under 18 to produce maps.
Interesting.
And a lot of these people that I'm seeing are like just randomly on Discover and randomly popping off are under 18. And
that's kind of an odd policy. I feel like that has to be a legal thing, just when you think about the demographic of like Fortnite and like all that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
But it makes it easier to handle too for the creator payouts. I think. Unless it's just all automated, but they have to check. So when they're checking, I've seen a few of these maps get demonetized, and that's why on Twitter, people in the UEFN com, they complain like crazy all day, every day. They complain so much. They're some of the most negative. They're all demotivated because they're all 1.0 people, and they say UEFN's so hard and so much different. And I'm seeing all these people, and I'm like, I don't know why you're complaining about these maps, because sure, it has 50K players, but the odds of them getting paid out are so low. So low. The second they look into the tax information and see that it's their parents, that's tax fraud. It's literally because either they're breaking child labor laws by hiring their child to make the map, and they're not claiming him as an employee, or like it's tax fraud.
Right.
So they just don't pay them, and then now you don't have the government involved in all this tax stuff. Like, it's easier to just not pay them out. And so the odds of them getting paid out are so low, and their map can get disabled and demonetized at any point. So I don't know why they're complaining. Like, it's not for me. Like, I literally, my Twitter, most of the time I don't complain on there. I could complain about the complainers all day if I wanted to, because God is the one that's going to handle these people. God decides maybe he needs this money. Maybe he's like the greatest person ever, and God is blessing this guy, and he's gonna bless his community and these people. Who am I to decide that they're wrong?
Sure.
So I don't know why they complain so much, but about the revenue splits, man, it's not gonna stop. And the money, I think it's gonna keep going up. We see Fortnite's player base going up even more and more.
Yeah.
I mean, iPhone is coming back soon, I think. Like, the Google case, that's even more revenue. This entire time we've had revenue without mobile. And mobile spenders, they spend the most. People who spend the most money, I learned in game development, are casual players. And the most casual players are mobile players.
Yeah, it's more common to have a phone than having a whole gaming console.
Completely. And it's easier to just, let me hit my thumbprint. It's not even in your brain for the money that you're spending. You're literally just, thumbprint and dopamine, and I feel good. And I spent V-Bucks and I got my skin.
Or just mommy, type in your password. Like, I remember, growing up, my brothers with Roblox, like, dude, that's what they were doing, man. They were walking to my mom with the iPad or the iPhone and like, mommy, can you do this? And, it's like a $5 purchase or whatever every time. But you think about $5 purchases once, twice, 10 times a week or whatever, right? Like they're making basically unlimited money off of each and every one of these kids, and now like you said, you can have, kids with easy monetization where it's a face scan or a thumbprint or any of those things. I mean, you read all those articles when we were growing up about like kid accidentally spends $5,000 on Clash of Clans or whatever, right? Like you talk about like these things where it's like, oh, as soon as they get access to that credit card information, like that money's just gone.
It's easy.
No, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about how mobile coming back. I mean, it really is. You just talk about, again, that Robloxification becoming a true competitor. And honestly, like, that's the genius of what Epic is doing. Is that
and we haven't even seen Epic Games, like, they had this vision of UEFN of it being this great, like, tool to actually make games on, not just Fortnite map, actual games. And people need, like, 2 years. Like, we needed, first of all, more tools that they didn't have on launch. Now we're starting to get those tools. We almost have those tools. A year from now, you're going to be seeing games that are pushed to the front page, actual games.
Yeah. Well, because I remember right when UEFN dropped, it was like the memory cap was like a big problem. Because I remember specifically people were like, oh, we want to make like, remake an entire season of the game that you can make playable. And like Sypher had that big project that he was trying to do with it. And, it ended up being, oh, well, we don't have enough, memory space allocated to us to actually make, the entire chapter 1 map redone or whatever. So, and I remember the timeline was, I think it was 1.5, 2 years where it was like, you should be able to release the equivalent of a AAA title within the confines of Fortnite, like within that time. Which is just, I mean, it is insane to think about. And what I was getting at and the genius of what Epic is doing and moving towards this model is like they have the entirety of the formula that makes Roblox so successful, but they also have the backing and the connections of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and all of the IP that they've accumulated. Like it's going to, you talk about that gaming metaverse that Fortnite is kind of conceptualized. Like they are actually actualizing that, and that's going to be, revolutionary for the game industry yet again. I mean, Fortnite just continuously does these things that pushes the entire industry in a new direction. I
feel bad for the layoffs, but literally, like, I mean, my mom asked me, she said, what does that mean for you? And I was like, it means my job's more secure than ever.
Yeah.
Right. Literally, there were 2 schools of thought. They're like, oh, that means UEFN isn't making money and it's not going to go crazy. I'm like, they believe in this model so much that they are willing to say, we're sorry to our company. We're sorry to our employees. You guys should be a part of this UEFN process. You should go make your own stuff. Literally, you shouldn't work here. You can't keep working here. We're going to do that. Other people say they're just failing. They suck. I'm like, no, they literally, like, just now the tools are coming out. Verse optimization is so good. And Verse is going to be coming at UE6. Tim Sweeney said so. Like, people that learn Verse now, they're going to have jobs at actual AAA studios if they take the time to learn this. And if they don't become a millionaire now, they will.
In time.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Is you're offloading these massive jobs to independent basically freelancing. It's actually cheaper on you, even if you're paying the
Yeah.
disgusting amounts that you are, to some of these map creators. Like that's when I think about the Roblox model, the monetization model. I've always blown away that they thought of it so early. Of like, oh yeah, let's just put everything in the developer's hands, but because we own the platform, we get it, and because we own the monetization route through Robux, we just we make bank off of their hard work, and then it's just a everybody eats type of situation. The map creators are making full-time livings, but they're not tied down to a company, and they can express their free opinions and all of that stuff. I mean, it really is. I think
I don't know about free opinions, but
well, yeah, I mean, to a degree, right? Like, I just mean you're not tied to a company in the same way. You're not an employee officially. But yeah, it's genius, and I think that freelancing model is really going to continue to go far in the gaming industry, just because the industry is so new still in regards to just essentially everything. It's hard to have stability. It's hard to have certainty. All of that in any space in the industry. Something can be solid 1 month. I think especially in Fort, we've seen that. You see an org pop up with hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding, and then 3 months later they're unheard of. I mean, you take a Team 33 or an Xset back in the day, or Extra, like it's just like they've all popped up, been titans for their time, and then faded away. So yeah, I'm really interested to see, I think, the landscape of how that goes. So I kind of want to
helps team organization getting money.
One thing. So you said you've worked with individuals on maps, right? Like people come up to you, they ask you like, "Oh, we want this map with this, this, this." Have you done the same with like organizations, like bigger end organizations or bigger end teams?
I've had a few reach out to me,
right?
But a lot of them, I don't really like the map or the deal that they have for me, and so I just haven't worked with a org. There's one.
So you've had people come out to you, but you haven't actually taken the deal.
Yeah, there's one org. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about where we're at in it, but I'm hoping to work with them. They had their beginning of the year budget discussion, and they ended up hosting another tournament. They're like, we just finished our tournament budgeting. That's why we just hosted UEFNs next, and so hopefully some cool stuff within the next 2 months with them.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So what does that process look like? How would I approach you? Like if I was like, hey, I want a map, whatever. How long does that process take? Okay.
DM me on Twitter at BenPen whoever wants a map, you DM me. And it depends on the map. Like if you want an entirely, let's say we're making Zone Wars. Let's say you want an entirely custom island with our new storm device that's just like Booga's late game. You can do anywhere on the map, everything. That's gonna take like 2 months to make. It's not. It's not easy to make. It's gonna be a couple grand to make. Like you're paying for my time and whoever else I hire. Like,
for sure.
A lot of people will come up to me, $500, $500, completely custom map, and
sure.
I'm like, so what? You want to pay me $5 an hour, basically?
Yeah.
Does that sound fair to you? So that doesn't sound fair to me.
Right.
So
when these projects come up, you usually go and grab a few individuals to help you out with it, and then split it amongst.
It depends. If I already have the assets, we won't do it. But a lot of times, I have a few people. Like it's like everybody eats. Like we really try to incorporate them.
Yeah.
And usually, like all of us are so busy that we'll pass up anyways most of the time. Or right now, like I'm not too busy. My friend, he's extremely busy, so he's just shooting projects my way. And then it's like a couple $100 a year, and it's like, all right, pays the bills, pays for dinners. Like
is a revenue split or an upfront cost or some kind of hybrid? Like what's the best for you? Like what do you prefer when you're going into a negotiation? Does it depend on who's making it, whatever?
The best for me is hybrid. I mean, I get money up front to pay my bills, and then if it pops off, boom.
Yeah. How often do you actually get a hybrid deal?
Well, at first I wouldn't take any deal that wasn't hybrid. At first.
Okay.
So all my first projects were hybrid, but now like I'd say people are starting to realize that hybrid is the best because people want updates on their maps, and then
for sure.
people won't update their maps for free.
Right,
That's
right.
not part of the deal.
Oh, so instead of going back and having to pay some kind of flat fee every time for an update, they just do a upfront, and then revenue split kind of pays for the maintenance of the. Okay, that makes sense.
It pays for the maintenance, bug fixes, but it gives incentive to the creator of the map to actually go in and fix up everything or make something new on it, have a big update.
Right.
That's why you see Jerry and I think Grain Bull is the one working on Jerry and Jive and stuff like the Infinite Zone Wars. They're coming out, popping out with updates. Imagine the dev didn't have a share of it. They wouldn't come out with updates.
Right.
You'd be like,
Jerry and Jive have been producing or like have been planning out a lot of maps recently.
But imagine you're the developer. You see that they just made 100K, and they're like, "We'll give you 500 for an update." We just made 100K. Why would I? No.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So going a hybrid deal, would you say that's your way, or would you say that is most devs' way as of right now?
That's most devs' way. My way right now, I'm working on a few commission deals. Just because they make the most sense. Like, it depends on the project. Also, how much you believe in the project, because a lot of people in the scene will undercut you, and so sometimes you just need to give up your percentage, or you need to just take the commission. It just depends.
For sure.
Really.
Yeah.
There's no formula for it, to be honest. It's all vibe.
Right. So like getting off the topic of just like the UEFN side and like how that all breaks down. We met you through Panda, and you said you met Panda through DreamHack, and you played competitively before. So I assume you went to DreamHack not only for a competitive experience. I don't know if that's what you went for, but also for just like a connection experience.
Connections, yeah.
So how was that for you?
Oh, DreamHack's great. Always go to DreamHack if you can.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're slowing down lately. I went to DreamHack San Diego. It wasn't that great.
Okay.
But
I went to Dallas in June of last year, or July, or whatever that was. That was really good. Dallas was like top tier.
Dallas.
I heard Atlanta was good, not quite as good. This most recent Atlanta in November or December, whatever it was.
December, I think.
Yeah, December. I heard it was okay. I think the big thing with the more recent, well, one, I think San Diego just kind of falls under the rug a lot of the times. I don't know why, but like it just kind of gets swept because it's not as big as Dallas or Atlanta. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe because it's West Coast and Fortnite kids, just
I think Dallas turned into the biggest one.
Yeah,
well, especially after the server change, it just made the most sense.
Most people also are now moving to Dallas.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like if you're going for Fortnite, that like all the big hitters are gonna be there, that you're gonna see them, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But so
it's great for connections. I literally sat next to Epic Whale. And then when I didn't qualify, Reed played on my PC. So
nice.
Reed followed me. It's like Reed already kind of knew me, but now he like knows a face with it, and he like whenever he sees my name in chat, like he knows me. Like
LANs are huge. Like we've talked about it so much. That was how I got my entrance into the whole like world and industry. It was went to Invitational and then DreamHack Atlanta. Whenever that was, 2 years ago, a year ago. And like that was just it was just a massive like thing because it breaks down those barriers of online, and like you talked about ego, like people don't want to respond to people with less than a certain amount of followers or anything like that.
Right. And literally, if you're watching this and you like go up to one of these pro players though, like don't be weird, bro. Like they're first of all, they all have their cliques and their friends, like just like you do. So most of the time, they don't even want to talk to you that much.
Yeah.
So like, if you're talking to them, it better be because you just want to say hi, what's up, and like, get a picture or something.
They're definitely willing. I think that like, they understand like that they're kind of like mini celebrities at this point. But yeah, just be respectful, keep it short, keep it sweet. Like don't push it. Like just be like, hey yo, like
the content creators, they're good ones to talk to always.
For sure.
Good connections. They already have a bit of ego, so like seeing someone like it feeds their ego in a good way. Like they feel happy about it. Makes a good positive experience.
what's gonna be the craziest thing is the next DreamHack that comes up. If DreamHack Dallas is coming up, whatever DreamHack Dallas is this year, the person that's gonna get the most attention is probably Asian Jeff, and that's gonna be the craziest thing to see.
Dude,
Oh,
Jeff.
if he
Okay,
goes,
I
It's gonna be
wouldn't. If I were
can
him, I wouldn't
vouch.
go.
I can vouch
just
that
for that
Jeff
reason.
is not that different in real life. Like Jeff is pretty much
Probably
like
not.
no, dude.
Probably not.
Like he's almost exactly that way IRL. Like the kid is. It's so funny. He's a funny kid.
Why would you say he shouldn't go though, Ben?
If I were him, I wouldn't go, bro. There's gonna be people coming up like trying to troll him the entire
Yeah.
time. Like,
Yeah.
there's some weirdos, bro. There's some people that just be like trying to steal info and stealing stuff and like just being weird behind you, like yelling and like they'll literally throw their entire $500 that they spent on DreamHack just to troll Asian Jeff.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, remember the clip with Oliver OG, the kid who killed him and then did the L on him IRL. Like,
right, like
dude, I was a kid.
no one knows who that kid is, but everyone knows that happened.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So I kind of want to ask, I guess, about your experience working with like bigger names, bigger creators. Like, has there been like what's the worst experience that you've had working with like a with a bigger name or whatever?
My worst experience is like the revenue share, to be honest, that they try to ask for. I had a map, it was fully done. I wanted to get a content creator on it, and he had to just play the map every once in a while. He didn't even need to like advertise like crazy. And he said, okay, 70-30.
For him.
And I was like, for him. And
Yeah.
That's like if I were Target, or if Pepsi came to Target, right? And they were like, hey, can you put our stuff on your shelf? You don't need to do anything. And Target went, yeah, for 70% of your sales.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't make the product. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So egos are massive.
Yeah.
But most content creators, like, they're pretty chill. Like, I was talking to Polarized. He's really chill. My favorite people to work with, though, the SuperJoy was the best, man. Literally,
right.
Assets that I need, bam, right there. Like, people to turn to. Like, it's so much easier than working.
I see SuperJoy, like, what, they've been here around for how long now, like, in the community?
Oh, when it started, they were on it.
Right. No, I'm saying how long has that company been around, like, in the community?
When did UEFN come out? 2022?
Yeah, something like that. It was like right at the end of 2022, yeah.
Late 2022, early 2023, something like that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So like a year a bit now. So with SuperJoy, because of that, like, of course you've worked with them. You haven't been in studio, but like, there's, for what you know, is there like a lot of people on that team, like an absurd amount?
No, it's not a crazy amount, but the people that are on there, they're all great at what they do.
Sypher's smart. Sypher, like Sypher, very much knows.
Smarter.
Yeah, I mean they're both unbelievable business gurus for sure. I mean, like they just they know how to work within their means. They don't because I think a lot of creators have an idea like Oni and SuperJoy and like expanding their kind of empire, but like the timing of it. You could tell that they planned it for a really long time. They didn't step into it before they were ready, because so many creators start big projects when they're not ready for it. It's like they'll have one or two good months where they're like, oh yeah, we're ready to launch merch or launch a business or whatever. And and Sypher, dude, he's always on the forefront. And Daniela, I'm not, they're a team. Sypher's team is always a step ahead, I think, of everyone else. Like you saw, he was really one of the first ones to optimize, every piece of content going to every platform in an efficient manner. You saw him recording videos on stream, and it like you didn't feel cheated because it was like, oh, I'm getting this like behind the scenes. I get to watch him record. Like everyone felt like they were getting something positive out of it. And then you see Oni and creator-led brands like Metal Umbrella. That's become a big trend now. We're seeing with all the mousepad companies and all of that stuff where, people are kind of following in his footsteps. And I've always like, when I look at kind of what I want to be in the industry and who's laying the foundation for how this stuff should go, Sypher's always a name that's up there.
Yeah, he's great. Literally, to get into the company, it was like a 2-month interview.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't easy. I think I had 3 on phone interviews, and then the application I had to write out like a lot. Like it wasn't an easy process.
Yeah.
So they actually like care about who gets in, and they make sure it's the right person, and they do it right, man. Like my contact over there, I love talking to him, bro. Daniela scares me.
I'm sure.
I had to talk to her for something. I just like, I'm not sexist in any way. I don't mean it because she's a woman. I literally mean it. She's just like a scary girl. Like, she's a top businesswoman. She is a great role model. She's a great person. And she was way nicer in call than I ever imagined. But literally going into it, I was like, can I just keep talking to you, bro? Like, like, I don't want to have to deal with that. But no, she was great. Even when she doesn't understand too much about the development side, but even the fact that she doesn't understand, she's really understanding about not even understanding it.
Yeah. She knows that she doesn't know, and she's just like, okay.
Yeah. She's like humble about it. She's like, I don't know what that means, but does this, like, do you guys know? Okay, great. All right, do that.
Yeah.
She puts her ego aside, man. She's just great. She's an amazing woman.
I mean, I think if I were to kind of summarize, I think all of the lessons that we could pull from this so far, and I would say this is true for all of life. I've said this about the creator culture for a long time now, because the creator culture is really back. What am I trying to say? Really like backwards on this idea of the best deals and the best way to conduct business is where everyone benefits. If you are gypping someone, if you are like trying to cut somebody out, it may play out for you in the very, very short term, but it will ruin your, long-term career and monetization and all of that stuff. I mean, all the deals you've talked about where it's like, we're all eating, you and other developers, you and businesses, you and creators, like, and that really is just the business philosophy. If everyone gets something out of it, if everyone's happy, like there never has to be, we see this trend, especially with creators, where they have the ego, where they, their only ambition is the selfish pursuit of, their stuff and their goals and whatever. They're trying to get the most money that they can to be the most famous and have the most followers. And it's like, to feed their ego in the short term. It's like, but the best way to do that for longevity's sake is to work with other people, throw them a bone to, make friends in the industry. That'll pay off in the long run. And I think you see that as a trend.
Yeah. In the UEFN space, like, I have people where I'll just help them for free. I'll literally do it for free. Not too often, so don't DM me. But like, it's better to be owed a favor than just get a quick payout. Like, I had a friend, he helped me make my entire rank system for one of my maps, and he was teaching me. I paid him, like, but he wasn't asking for much money. He just wanted to help me out because he knows I'm a good guy in the scene. Your reputation is everything, and people, like, there are people, they'll offer like cool deals, and then I'll tell my friends, I'm like, I wouldn't do it. Why? I tell them, I'm like, dude, this is who he is. This is the kind of person he is. He's telling you, like, even if you get a contract, this guy's a minor, so that contract doesn't mean anything. Like, it sounds sexy, but I wouldn't do it. And
sure,
helped avoid some people.
So UEFN, DreamHack. So other, like, do you have your own plans with UEFN? Like, do you want to create stuff outside of just people asking you and like studios asking you?
Yeah, I mean, I have literally a whiteboard. I have 3 whiteboards, a vision board and two whiteboards for work. One of them has like 15 map ideas, completely non-done game modes. Only one of them isn't possible right now. All the other ones completely unique game modes.
Do you mean possible as in like the assets you're given?
Yeah, like one of them, I need there's a device in 1.0 called the level loader device, where basically any props that are there before, you can just reload them into it. So imagine we had like Tilted Towers, and we have builds all through Tilted Towers. We can't just remove the builds because we would explode everything.
Oh, I see.
So we need the level loader to bring everything back in. So like once we get that, then the game mode I have is possible. But yeah, like I have ideas and games I want to make outside of it. Like I was talking to you earlier. Kingdom Hearts is my favorite game. I would love to make like a Kingdom Hearts style game, like with all the JRPG style and the HUD and the open world.
Well, yeah, I don't play it, but I know I know how. Like I've seen gameplay on it.
Yeah.
So
things like that.
yeah, what is kind of the like? What is the end game for you, or where would you want to end up like in your career? Would you want to be a developer for a AAA company? Do you want to keep being an independent freelancer? Like, what's the kind of the goal that you're reaching for?
The goal is my own studio.
Okay.
At the end of it, just making like actual passion projects. Like we want a few things to pop off here, so that way, like the biggest thing I want to do is make impact in my community. So I need a lot of money to, help with animals or help with like my religious community, things like that.
Sure.
People around me. So you need a lot of money to do that. So something like UEFN is great for that. And then once you do that, then I could also give people jobs by having my own studio. So now I'm able to help more people have my own studio. Only people that want to work on this like passion project. So even if it doesn't pop off, you're fine because you already had your stuff from UEFN earlier.
Yeah.
And it'll be a great like artistic and programming thing for them to give to other studios.
So it's something that you don't mind the profit of, more of like you would want to do it because it's like interesting and you want to see how it play out.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's for the money. Like I'm for the money on it. But if like we want to make enough where then I'm just living off investments anyways at that point. And then it's like, all right, we can hire these people, give them a job, give them stable income. And it doesn't matter because all these other things are still popping off and bringing in revenue.
You've mentioned God and religion multiple times, and I kind of want to get into, not like super deep. I don't want to have a religious discussion, but I would assume you're a Christian.
I'm actually Jewish.
Okay, very cool. How big is that for you? Like what, is that a big motivating factor for you? How much does that impact kind of how you approach this whole scene? Because I know for me, being religious, being a Christian, there are definitely a lot of things about this industry and this scene that I have to actively avoid or, kind of work around. Because it's just, it doesn't align with my morals in regards to a lot of things. And I have a lot of gripes. If you ever look at my Twitter, it's just me ranting about everything that I hate about the scene and content culture and all of that in that regard. So how big is God in the way that you live your life and the way you approach this industry?
I mean, for me, it's everything. Because for me, in Judaism, I'm pretty sure every religion actually that just believes in God is that nothing happens without God. So the money you have wasn't possible without God blessing you with that money. The work you were given wasn't possible without God blessing you with that work and contract, whatever comes into your life. So for me, it's everything. But like you said, man, there's a lot of things you need to avoid.
Yeah.
For sure. And there are things like I don't follow the Torah completely. Like I don't keep kosher. There's something called Shomer Nagia where you just don't even like touch a woman. Like I'll give someone hugs and everything. Like if you're a Shomer, you won't do that. But no, I pray every day. Every night I read a chapter of the Torah and then I'll pray to God personally. And then I'll probably read a psalm. So it takes like 45 minutes at the end of my night just to pray.
Yeah.
And then I learn with my rabbi once a week. We study, it's like Kabbalah, it's Jewish mysticism. So man, it's everything for me.
Yeah.
Like there's no point in life without God for me. For you. There just isn't. So I mean, you can come to me and give me reasons why he doesn't exist, and I'll be like, hey, that's fine, that's great for you. Like you go with that. I still follow this because this is what I believe.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it, like there's a lot of failure in UEFN, especially like I just worked for 2.5 months on Speedbox PvP.
Right.
No, hasn't popped off. No one's talking about it.
Yeah.
No good about it. Like I feel terrible, but at the end of the day, like you literally have to fail in order for something great to happen. We see it time and time again in the Old Testament over here. That's the Torah. Right. And so a lot of it's in the Bible too. You'll see that like literally with the two brothers, like with Aaron and his brother, Moses and the other annoying brothers. You see, we have these two godly brothers, and you have to have the annoying brothers there, so it doesn't matter. You see, like with when Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then he was able to profit and give everything for 25 years. Like, I'm sure he wasn't happy living in slavery and being sold, but he was able to give all of the people these great things. So like, it just reminds me, like, you see these constant examples in the Bible of just, oh, like, failure has to happen. You see every story, failure has to happen. You will fail, you will not be happy, there will be things you don't like, but God will give you what you deserve if you stick with it and you have faith. So,
do you think that have you noticed a disparity between like your moral code and other developers like in the scene? Like, are there certain things that they'll do that you're like, yeah, I don't want any part of that?
Completely. And they're like, I'll see people that they're just not good people, but they're willing to pay, and I'm just like, no, I won't do that.
So that kind of gets me into one thing that I think we touched on very lightly earlier, like the copycat thing, because that's just, you know, in any creative industry, I think that's a big thing. But like, it's really like, obviously we've talked about there's a million box PvPs out there. So once one idea does well, people just do a very slight, terrible, you know, rehashing of it, and try and pass it off as their own work. Are like, do you know people that are like, you know, making full-time livings just off of copying, or, you know, like, what are the...
Oh yeah, a ton of people do it, and literally
he sounded so passionate about that.
Dude, no. This is the number one complaint on Twitter. Everyone goes crazy, bro. I'm telling you. You got me started on this, so this is your fault.
No, there you go. Rant away.
Let's look at Ken Beans, right? The whole Ken Beans situation with Speed Realistics. How Finest instantly made it. They're like, Finest, you know, top creator. He doesn't need the money. He's already making $1 million+ a month. His commissions are like 50K to 100K just for him. He's not even a team. That's how much like actual studios are charging.
Yeah.
Right? So Finest doesn't need the money. Finest makes it whatever. Ken Beans, because he's a creator, he's able to say, this is wrong. And Finest goes, fine, I'll remove the map. Speed Realistics now is making like 500K a month, at least across the three.
Good God. Yeah.
Easily. Just look at Fortnite GG. I'm pretty sure I'm saying the low end. So now Ken Beans copies Paperly's map. He copies the Peace Control map.
Oh, yeah.
Ken Beans just made a huge deal about not doing it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with copying other people's maps. So what I have to say, be the better creator. That's it. Literally, just be the better creator, be the better marketer. Paperly shouldn't complain. He's like, I'm going to do a DMCA strike. No, we don't own any of this. This is all under Fortnite. Fortnite owns this. We publish a Fortnite. Fortnite is our publisher. They own it. So we don't even own it. So I don't know who you're going to try to DMCA strike. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I agree it's wrong. You shouldn't go stealing. I literally, when I made Speedbox PvP, I DM Ken. I asked him, yo, are you cool with this? Like, you know, I'm taking the speed title. I made it my own. It's completely different. It doesn't even use the boost mechanic. Like, it's mainly the name. Are you cool with it? So I don't like copying other people.
Yeah.
But literally, like, everyone else is copying. It happened. It's been happening since 1.0. Everyone copies everyone.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be the better creator. You have to have the better influence. You have to have the better brand. You have to have the better product. Literally, people think red versus blue is just so easy because they see, oh, I made red versus blue and it hit Discover for 1 day and it hit 1K players. So it's so easy. And then it gets taken out of Discover and then it doesn't do good.
Yeah.
Red versus blue isn't actual red versus blue that stayed on top is not an easy game mode to make. It literally, they had custom UIs, they have verse, they have a ton of things going on in it.
Yeah.
To keep the player entertained. And people think it's so easy and it's not.
So I've heard this number thrown around, and I feel like you would know more than anyone else that I could have contact with. Is that like that 1K concurrent average players for a month equaling roughly $30,000? Is that a correct number? Is it in the ballpark?
I've heard that too. I don't know exactly how accurate it is.
Okay.
I know. So I don't know what I'm allowed to say because I'm pretty sure directly on the portal you're not allowed to say how much you get paid out or something like that.
Yeah.
So I will say that I have heard that for every 1,000 plays for 25 minutes of average playtime, it is
Okay.
$20. That's what I've heard. I don't
Okay.
know for sure. Maybe I
Yeah.
do, maybe I don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what I would go with. And so if you're averaging 1,000 across, I don't know the math on that, but for the whole day, it depends too. Are you swapping out players? Is it one player? What's your average play time? Like, there's a
Sure.
lot of factors that go into it. But let's assume it's 25 minutes. And
Okay.
I've heard 1K equals 30K. Also, if you
Yeah.
average 1K throughout the whole month.
Yeah. That was like, because I remember when the Only Up map was booming, which I think was the first. Yeah, which I like was the first one that I can think of that was like really, really relevant in terms of like everyone was talking about it, and it was like, I mean, and I was hearing numbers in the stratosphere. It was like, oh, they're making $1 million a day. Like I heard, a whole range of numbers. But I heard like, a conservative estimate where people are like doing the math on the minimums, and it was like anywhere from 1.2 to 2 a month or whatever, right at its peak. And I was like, whoa, that's
if I were to guess its peak, I would say 3 million, but that'd be my guess at its peak for that month. Because think about their average playtime,
yeah,
and then Fortnite split, because Fortnite takes money away from us when their BR does well.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure their BR wasn't doing too well at the time, unless it was during OG, and I don't think it was during OG.
No, it wasn't. It was before OG. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got a majority of the revenue from it. It was around 3 mil, I think. It was between 1 and 3 mil, and especially after Fortnite Only Up Chapter 1, and then they came out with like Chapter 2 Only Up, Chapter 3 Only Up.
Yeah.
After all that, easily they made probably like 10 million for their studio. And I think there was only like 5 people on the studio, so they're all walking away millionaires.
Insanity. Yeah, that's insanity. I think people are very unaware of those types of numbers. I mean, honestly, like, I've talked to creators where part of the reason they want to get in on this so bad is because it is if you can, have a couple maps in rotation that are doing well or decent, you can be making more than your stream income, unless you are a very, very big streamer. Like it is a more stable income, and it's passive, at the point of once you pass a map or you have someone else, you're allocating that work to a developer or whatever. I've got a buddy who has like, I think he's got 10 maps that are either published or in development. I think 5 of them are published right now, and he's lapping himself in his stream revenue. And like he and I were talking about, like, he doesn't feel the pressure anymore in terms of streaming. Like he doesn't have to like do as much and be over the top and whatever in terms of streaming, because his maps are doing so well and there's such a stable income. Like, it's funny because I think people overestimate how much streamers and content creators make at the
time.
Like the average partner. I'm not talking about SypherPK. Like, bro is a multimillionaire, but you talk about like the average Twitch partner is really scraping by if they're making a living off of it at all. Which is not the public's perception. They think, oh, you're partnered, you're making $1 million a year. It's like not even close. But I think on the flip side of that, you take these maps and people are like, oh, they can't be making that much. Like, it's just a Fortnite map. And so there's a big disparity there. And I think it's a really interesting time in the content creator space, the creator economy right now, because of that. Like, this is the big business right now. Like, if you don't have the means to, go and start an accessories company, like, mousepad company or Cease has done, or anything like that, like, this is the place to monetize right now. And it's only going to get bigger. Epic loves this, and they want to keep pushing this. This is kind of the wave. This is the future. So, I'm interested in it. I gotta talk to a few people, about what I want to do. One big thing that I've thought about is like voice acting on these maps. Like, people have started like hiring voice actors for this type of stuff. And I would love to do that. Like, I mean, not to plug anything, but if you ever need a voiceover, hit me up.
For sure, there's some stuff coming up that we need.
But yeah, so I don't have any more questions, Vishal. I think we're good to head into the last ones.
I just want to ask one thing. Like, with UEFN, like you said, like there's assets that haven't come out that you want to use in the future for your project. Like, one of those assets being the level, what was it called? Level something?
Level loader. Yeah,
level loader.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. So with UEFN and what we know as of right now, that there's a lot of crazy shit you can do with UEFN. In the future, would you see that UEFN has even like it's easy to say that in the future that UEFN is definitely going to improve more because as technology improves, all of that's going to improve and lead to it. Do you think that you're going to stick with UEFN for a decent amount of time
Easily.
as that technology comes out, or would you rather? You think easily? Like I don't even have to
Easily.
include my question. Okay then.
No, easily. There's no point. A lot of people, I'm telling you, on Twitter, bro, if you're in the UEFN dev community, you will see complaint after complaint. And
Like
a lot
from
of
devs
people,
themselves or from
yeah,
creators? Okay.
especially 1.0 devs, they literally they complain all the time about it.
Just
I
about how
think
complicated it is.
how complicated it is, how hard it is to break through, how it's just about the money now, and how there's no passion anymore. Passion projects don't break through. You have to spam maps. And literally, we like the best thing about UEFN, we have the player base right there in front of us. Right?
Yeah.
And if you get lucky, you're on Discover. And then if not, like everyone, the odds of someone downloading your game off of a trailer are so low compared to I have Fortnite installed. I saw this on TikTok. These look funny and fun to do. I'm gonna hop in.
Yeah.
Like there's so much power behind UEFN, and people are just complaining instead. They literally sit there. I mean, like that's what I want to talk about with you guys. Actually, burnout and depression in this. Like the depression is so high because everyone just sits at their desk all day.
Yeah.
And so they try, and then they get burnt out. I don't even believe in burnout. I've been at this for like 5 months now of straight working day in, day out, no days off. Like there are things I do to avoid burnout. I don't know about you guys, but literally burnout. If you don't let yourself, it's so easy.
There's things to avoid it, but at the same time, I wouldn't say I won't believe in it because like I took a break recently, but like it wasn't because of burnout, it was just because of stuff going on. But then I realized like genuinely, maybe it is kind of worth it to take breaks when needed, or like even when you don't feel like you need it exactly, but like sometimes it's healthy to take one.
Yeah, I think the biggest contributor to whatever we're referring to when we say burnout, that sudden drop in motivation, or the inability to continue doing work at the productivity level that you're talking about. I think the biggest thing for that is how much variety do you have in your life? If you are if you think of your time in terms of percentages, and you are legitimately, I mean, we've talked about Bronos before. He was our first episode on the podcast. Like Bronos are in the arena race, right? He's doing, let's say he wakes up one day after an 8 hour rest, and he does a 16-hour stream, sleeps for 4, and then does a 30-hour marathon. You think about like, in a week, the percentage of time that he's spending just sitting there playing arena is probably 70-80%. Like that is going to, and he has those burnouts more often and worse than anyone I've ever seen, because he just does one thing for a few months and then just crashes unbelievably hard. The people I think, and we've heard this in the creator scene as well, that I love this trend that, creators are finally talking about finding balance. And, I think the gym has been a big one for a lot of creators where, they go to the gym, they get to work on their physical body. It's an escape from that whole world. It's variety. It's, it's getting your mind off of things. I know for me, like, I used to go to the basketball gym and just shoot around an hour or two, like every morning, like super early morning, 5-6 a.m. And that was like a therapeutic time for me. And it helped me kind of, it was that escape from everything. Because I think especially in this industry, gaming starts as an escape. It starts as a passion, but when it becomes work, now you need an escape from your escape. Like you need something that you can have that variety from.
And sometimes it becomes like the reverse. So it's like if you're using gaming or Fortnite specifically because you're on the Fortnite com to escape from like the real world because it's like work, school, friends, whatever, like the social anxiety, whatever it is, then if Fortnite becomes work and was the reason that you were escaping because it was work, now if Fortnite becomes work, now your escape's probably going to be going out.
No, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying is like, it's flipped from becoming a passion or, the escape from everything else to now this is the thing that you need to escape from. Yeah, exactly. And that's, so go out, work out, do whatever, like have some variety of your time, have other things that you can be excited about and work towards and take your mind off of. I think if we're too honed in on one thing for too long, that's what that burnout comes from. I think so. Yeah, just have some variety, spice things up. I mean, as cliche as that sounds, like really do go out and do something.
Ben, your age is public, right?
Yeah, I'm 23.
23, right? So you said when you moved to Dallas, so you said what? How long ago? How long? Or sorry, not Dallas, Texas. How long have you been in Texas for now?
Like 4 months.
4 months. Did you come out here knowing that you'd have more connections, or did you also have friends out here that you could also go out with and spend time with when you were off or when you wanted to get away?
I had 2 friends out here, and I didn't even see them when I came here. I ended up just getting in contact with the religious community more over here and just spending most of my time there. I mean, for burnout for me, man, like I get excited about the work that I'm doing. So like we say get excited about other things. That's the main thing that excites me. But for me, the way I avoid it, man, wake up, you gotta for me, I check my phone right away. I'm like responding to text. I'm just working. And then I go shower, I eat, bro. Stay hydrated. Literally, people don't stay hydrated throughout the day. You're sitting at the desk. All these UEFN devs, I see they're so sad. They're at their desk, no sunlight, not working out, not talking to people. And then they're like, oh, I'm so sad. I don't, it's just so hard to get up. I'm like, yeah, of course it's fucking hard. You're sitting there doing nothing all day, talking to no one. Like, of course.
No, dude.
With no goals. We're literally just complaining about someone else that made Latina Zone Wars. Like, of course.
This is kind of crazy.
No, you bring up a really good point there. And I have been having this conversation a lot. So I had a tweet rant recently about e-dating. Because, like,
oh my God.
This is going somewhere. But, dude, the idea that interacting with someone in real life and interacting with somebody solely over like Discord or Twitch or just the internet in general is insane. And like when you think you were saying with social interaction, like, dude, sitting in a Discord call is completely different than going out with somebody in real life, hanging out with them face to face, getting food, whatever. Like, please do not think that your social battery is being fulfilled by the internet, by Twitter, by Discord, whatever. Like, it is not the same. Please go talk to real human beings in real life. And it's a big contributor to why the internet has a reputation it does and why these people are like, dude, don't be a chronically online freak. Like, as I've been so sick of them recently, and it just
I want to jump in because as a dev, it's hard not to do that. It's hard to not just sit at your desk. Like my friend Scaling, we're up till 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. working. Yeah. And we've been working all day, and like it's hard not to leave your desk because you have 5 clients and projects to do. And, like your own projects, and you're trying to make it, and other people are trying to make it. It's hard not to leave. The only way that I fulfill my social battery is I pray twice a week, every Saturday morning. I don't even like praying. Like, it's not fun. I have a roommate. I talk to him maybe for like 30 minutes a day at most, and he'll be like, why do you even go pray if you don't like doing it? I have to, bro. Like, I don't like working. Like, we have to pay the bills. It fulfills my needs. Like, I have to do it. So it gets me out of the house. It gets me seeing people. It's something good to study. It fulfills my religious need. My soul needs it. Right. Like, the only way that I survive the rest of the week, though, is because I talk to people on Discord. Other people, they don't have anyone to talk to. Like, I'm sharing my work all the time to people, and some people find it annoying. I tell them, like, just tell me, and I'll stop sending it. Other people, it just cheers me on. It's like good, more motivation to keep going.
No, I'm not saying it's not social interaction. I'm just saying it's not the same as like going and interacting with people in the real world. Like it is a pseudo level. Yeah, exactly.
You have to interact with someone at some point in person.
For sure.
You have to have some sort of social skills. Even if you like being on the internet, all that, you still have to have some sort of social skills.
No, I mean, dude, we talked about LANs.
Exactly.
I felt like a goddamn superhero at every LAN that I've been to because I actually have social skills. I can maintain eye contact. I can hold a conversation. Like, these kids are. It's crazy.
They're bouncing. They're looking away.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. I mean, it really is like so bad. I mean,
like nerve wracked, bro. Nerve wracked.
Yeah. No, and like honestly, in my experience, the bigger the pro player or like the more online reputation and cloud and whatever they have, usually the worse they are socially. Like, because they just lock themselves away even more. Like, they interact with even less people. Like, everything is through Discord or whatever. Like, I've struggled through some conversations with some bigger people where it's like, wow.
Yeah, I'd rather have a kid come up to me at DreamHack being a little hyper, so he's a little social to an extent, not like a super kid that's gonna bother me all day, but a kid to a certain extent that can, like, you know, he's interesting, he's funny to be around, but like he's not the annoying type where like he'll just keep talking, can't get away from him type of thing. I'd rather have that than have to talk to someone that's older than me but doesn't know how to speak because they've been on the internet their whole life. I'd rather have a kid around me because at least there's something funny going on. If you don't have social skills, I'd rather not talk to you. You're wasting my time, realistically speaking. I don't care about your clout. I don't care about nothing.
It's just a matter of practice. I mean, that's the biggest thing is like just go out and do it. Like, you learn in those interactions. Like, you learn. You know,
imagine talking to a content creator that you've looked up to on YouTube or anything. But when you meet them in person, they are the most socially awkward person. How are you supposed to talk to them?
I'm not going to name names, but when I went to DreamHack Atlanta, there was a bigger streamer there. And dude, the entire time I saw him, he was buried in his phone, neck down. Like, I never saw him look up the entire time. And even when he talked to people, he like didn't make, he was looking straight at the floor, bro, not making eye contact. It was so, like, I was secondhand embarrassed, honestly, at that point. So we have two traditional final questions, and we kind of already touched on one of them, which is like your kind of long-term goals, where you want to be. What can we see from you, you know, since we already touched on like the long term, what can we see from you in the near future that you're excited about, or any projects that you want to, you know, build hype for coming up, or anything like that?
Let's see. There's Monkey FFA. That one's really stupid. Like, custom
it'll probably
streaks, like,
it'll probably do really well though.
I'm hoping.
No bananas is crazy. That sounds fire.
Yeah, bro, you're gonna go bananas. Huge HP buff, damage buff, speed buff.
Wow.
Like, really
like
fun.
it. I like it.
Got some projects hopefully with SuperJoy coming up, and
that's something you're working on, right? Like Monkey FFA. You're working on solely.
Yeah, that's a personal project. And then Speedbox PvP just came out. I'm looking to partner with a content creator on that, so hopefully you'll see that everywhere someday.
Nice.
But yeah, man, I can't leak too many projects.
It's all good. And then finally, you know, you've given a lot of really good advice, but our traditional final question is, if you were to give the audience just one piece of advice, what would it be?
Make sure you work out, because you got to take care of your physical and mental health. Make sure you're eating right, drinking a lot of water. And if you're thinking about getting into UEFN, the way to break in is to spend a lot of time watching the videos. There's no way around it. All the tutorials are boring. You have to spend the 2-hour-long landscape video. You need to watch that. The Unreal Fest talks about optimization. You have to do that. You need to see how to optimize your game. If you want to learn verse and program, sit down, watch the Warforged videos, literally learn verse, spend the hour-long tutorial learning it and doing the homework assignment. You have to put in the time.
So it's kind of like a mini online course as to figure out what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, everything's specific. So like, you try to learn general, and then you're gonna spend hours trying to learn the specific. And just people.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if the learning comes down to something you're actually gonna use, like if it's not like a lot of these school programs where it's like you get a degree, but then you don't end up using a lot of what you learned in school.
No, I mean, it's all practical, self-taught stuff.
If it's something in UEFN where they actually teach you step by step how to do things that you're literally going to use step for step in your process of making maps or whatever you do with organizations or your players, then it makes sense.
I think that's the most beautiful part of being in esports right now is being self-taught. You can just kind of pick up a job and start doing it at any scale and teach yourself as you go. I mean, like you said, like, failure is the greatest teacher by far. So just start doing it. Just start going out and whatever opportunity that is, making your own map. You know, start small. Make a small 1v1 map for you and your friends or whatever, and just learn the
always
basics.
Start with the 1v1 map. Seriously, always start with that. But also, if you could get a different space to work in, like, this isn't even my room. This is a separate room that we have. I don't work in the same space. I dress up for work. Like, I'm wearing a button down. Usually I'm full suited up. Like, I dress up for work because you need to separate. Anyone that works from home, this goes for a lot of people nowadays. you will get burnt out and you will feel lazy if you are working in your pajamas every day.
That's
Yeah,
great advice.
Dress
That is
up.
true.
Yeah.
You
That's
need to
that's
dress
good
up and have a
advice,
different
yeah.
space. You cannot sleep where you
That's
are
fair.
working. And if you can only sleep where you're working, that's the only place you're able to have your setup. Put a rug under your setup, so that way there's at least some division
I like
in your
that.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compartmentalization
So
in like in the mind. Yeah.
It's just it's professional attire at the end
Yeah.
of the day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll feel more energized throughout the whole day. We did the whole thing. I had someone shadow me for a week. He flew out, did a whole thing where I was like, all right, these 2 days we're not going to dress up. These days we are.
Yeah.
So much more work done all 3 of those days.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
That's crazy.
we'll leave BenPen's socials down below. Hit him up if you want a map done or if you have any questions. Well, maybe not if you just want to use him as a hotline, but yeah, if you,
I do
if you
respond
wanna,
to questions. Just try to actually do a little bit of research first. Don't ask me what language Fortnite uses for programming. Just Google that yourself. That's an
Nice.
actual DM I've gotten.
Yeah. We'll leave his socials down below. Make sure you follow us as well. And you can listen on any platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find your podcast. And then the video version is here on YouTube. And we will see you all in the next episode of GhostComms. Peace.
Hey, everybody.